Oh, hello there, it's Tom.
And Tom.
Here from the Golf is Ruining My Life podcast.
If you love golf, but golf hates you, then you should probably drop in and have a listen, if I'm honest.
Yeah, you really should. Obviously, we're the go-to podcast for anyone suffering the ongoing torture that is the game of golf.
Right now, we're also living our golf dreams.
And I don't mean that golf dream about the talking rabbit with your nan's face who gave you that putt.
What?
That doesn't matter, nothing, move on.
So, yeah, anyway, we've teamed up with PGA Tour 2K25.
Yes, indeed. And, by the way, PGA Tour 2K25 is rated Peggy 3.
To finally allow us to live our golfing fantasies.
Fancy playing in a major? You can do that on PGA Tour 2K25.
Quite keen to design a course? Grab your console and guess what? You can do that on PGA Tour 2K25.
Fancy making a 4-ball scramble or even a cheeky little spot of match play with your cousin in Australia? You can do that on PGA Tour 2K25.
So good. So for exclusive early access to the game and loads more besides, come on over and join us, Tom and Tom, on Golf is Ruining My Life. Brought to you in association with PGA Tour 2K25.
We'll see you soon.
Your nan's face on the body of a rabbit. What's going on there, mate?
Nothing. It's definitely not a recurring dream I keep having at all.
Get the Angel Reese special at McDonald's now. Let's break it down. My favorite barbecue sauce, American cheese, crispy bacon, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun, of course. And don't forget the fries and a drink. Sound good? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating restaurants for a limited time.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Welcome to another Finely Edged production for the Premier League Cricket Club. Connecting players and coaches, clubs and leagues, volunteers and supporters alike, you're in the right place for the best of the 33 ECB Premier Leagues and the 20 NCCA counties, bringing you the stories, the stats and the standout performances that make this game great. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to both our Premier League and NCCA shows so you don't miss any episodes. Now, shall we get stuck in? So welcome everybody to the Premier League Cricket Show, and joining us today, once again, my friend, my host, Mr. Hugh Newsom. How are you doing, bud?
How are we doing? All good.
All
Very
good.
excited about this one.
Yeah, very much. And we've got a new partner that we're working with. You know, we've been looking for the right partner to work with who, let's be blunt, makes bats. You know, we don't want to mess about with anything else. It's just making bats and somebody who's an expert in that field. And we've got him. And joining us today from one of our more local bat makers as well, which is quite handy, it's down the road, Mr. Michael Blatherwick from B3. How are we doing, Blathers?
I'm very good, Livo. How are you? How are you?
All good for a Thursday afternoon when the world is running around us very fast and we all seem to be jumping from one thing to the other, right?
Yeah, no, it's and actually it's miserable out there, isn't it? It's been a grey week, but
it is. Yeah, but I can give you a good number.
Go on.
It's 50 days today, as a clue behind the scenes for people who know when we're recording. 50 days to the start of the county championship.
Fantastic. Yeah, is that a Friday?
It's 7 weeks tomorrow. 7 weeks tomorrow. Yeah. 4th of April, hand warmers, get them ready. If your name's Nick Friend at the Cricketer, make sure you don't fall on them and get chemical burns, is all I'll say. He's been there, done that. But hey, anyway, we're here to talk bats, so we're here to talk cricket with Michael Blatherwick from B3. Let's get straight into it with you, Michael. You've got a bit of a history of Premier League cricket to start with, haven't you? Just tell us a bit about your memories of playing Premier League cricket yourself.
When did the Premier League start? Was it 99? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Notts Premier League. So, I was involved in it. I mean, I played Premier League cricket regularly till I was mid-40s. I'm 59 now, so I played up until about 2011 at Kimberley Cricket Club, where I was from 1989. So, nearly 30 years I was at Kimberley. Yeah, before that, it was the Gunner Moore Alliance League. And that was a great league because it mixed in a few Derbyshire sides like Sandy Acre and a few of the Leicestershire sides like Edgerton Park and Beaver. So no, it was a great league. And then they obviously introduced the Premier League setup and it was more limited to boundaries, wasn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah, I've just got to pick up on that. Was the Gunner Moore League then almost a a mini version of the way the Yorkshire League used to operate across the whole of Yorkshire, rather these 4 to 5 different leagues they've got now. You just sort of, it was the best within a certain radius and
Well,
didn't county.
you had a few leagues in Notts. You had the Basset Law, which were primarily North Notts.
Yeah.
Then you had the Gunnermoor Alliance. I think those two were the best in terms of standard. Below that, you had the Amateur League, the Notts Amateur League. I was at Gedling Colliery when I was a kid, and at 17, I left to go and play in the Gunnermoor Alliance at Kimberley, but had 1 year at Players. So Players, a cigarette manufacturer.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, back then, as you will remember, the factory grounds, it was almost first class cricket. The grounds, the facilities, were unbelievable. So I played there, played against Kimberley, did well, and they kind of enticed me, and they were the club to play for back then, and I was there nearly 30 years.
Do you get free fags if you're playing for Players? They just like.
I can't remember, and I didn't smoke at that age. I smoked for a little bit, but not much. But I don't think you did. You must have done when you worked there, or definitely preferential.
Yeah,
But they probably stopped people smoking because they knew they killed people. So they,
yeah. I've just got this vision of Players not being the actual sponsor of Players Cricket Club because it was too political. You couldn't do that. It was the right thing to do, was it?
Not in the 90s.
You're right, Blathers, about
it was acceptable in the 80s, as the saying goes.
You're right about those sort of grounds. We had them over here in Burton and around this area with the brewery grounds.
Yeah, of course you did. Yeah,
had first class cricket being played on them, absolute top class.
Yeah, well, in Nottingham, you had Boots, you had Raleigh.
Boots,
you had Players, you had Worthington Simpsons, unbelievable facilities.
I've got a funny memory. I played on Boots's ground.
Well, Notts 2's play there now. That is the old Boots ground.
Is that somewhere that we park for sometimes when we go to Trent Bridge? It's quite that close, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, that's taking me back a little bit. So you were playing back then at a very high level in terms of what the competition was out there. Did that sort of shape your understanding of the game playing at that level and the quality of the game that was going on in the Premier League?
Yeah, no, it was a good standard. I mean, cricket was my passion. Like a lot of people, I wanted to do as well as I could in it. I had a go at becoming a professional player. Didn't work out. But
how far did you get?
Played Notts 2s, played a lot of Notts under 25s, and then was asked to potentially have a summer contract when I was 23, but I'd got a house, started a business, couldn't do it. And actually, back then, I mean, the primary school skills were red ball, and champo cricket was. I think missing out on that 3 or 4 years of development at the highest level. I don't think you could step in to that. I don't think you could go from club cricket to facing Patrick Patterson on Trent Bridge very, very easily. Whereas now, I think a lad in his mid-20s who's got some good white ball skills could transition to maybe the Metro Bank or T20.
Got to ask, can you remember how much that offer of that contract was for that summer?
No, I can't. No. Never really got that far, to be honest.
It wasn't a lot, though, was it, back then? Wasn't a lot.
No. It wouldn't have been. No, it'd have been sort of pin money and come and play for the 2s on a summer contract and see what you can do. It happened a lot.
Did you feel that you were on a level with the guys who were playing first class cricket, or did you kind of know in your heart that maybe you weren't quite there?
I don't know. I was always quite a confident kind of player, so I felt I could compete, and I was an all-rounder as well. So I always had the attitude: if I got a duck, I'd go out and take 5 wickets. But that, some people, I was like that. I was quite confident. But on your good days, you were good, weren't you? On your bad days, but it depends.
On your bad days, you were like England's ODI side, but we won't go any further with that, shall we? You talked about it being your passion and being around. Obviously, cricket came first and foremost, but you were already building a business back then, weren't you? And sort of IT business that effectively was paying the bills, wasn't it?
Yeah, no. I'd started this business and we got premises and things were going well. But that also enabled me to play some midweek cricket as well. So played some great rep cricket for the league sides in the club the Midland Club Cricket Conference, and for Notts Cricket Association in that competition, which was very strong then. And it's a bit of a shame they've died, those competitions. Those rep sides were great days out.
Yeah, you read my mind there. I'm trying to think of how few of them you see around now. Even the sort of friendly ones are disappearing slowly but surely, aren't they?
No, there ought to be a Premier League rep side competition, and limited maybe to one overseas. Maybe make it so you've got to have so many under 25s or something like that. I don't know. I think that could be a really good competition if somebody could.
Well, it's a good showcase, isn't it? A good showcase for talent, isn't it?
The other problem you've got as well is with the National Cup and other cups and things. It's fitting it into the schedule, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Has the National Cup's grown, or is it just we're just less able to play that amount of cricket?
I don't know whether it's grown or not. It was always big. I mean, we always played it at Kimberley. We were always involved. We had some great days out.
Yeah. And I think
so that's just less room for midweek cricket for people who've got day jobs, I suppose.
I think the other thing that's impacted on it as well. I think a lot of lads are restricted to playing 1 day a week, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it varies so much around the country, and we'll come to that a bit later in the conversation. I want to just sort of get your feelings on about Premier League cricket around the country, but that does vary so much. In the Midlands, getting people to play on a Sunday as well as a Saturday, you can see from the entries and the teams that get put out there, so different to how it is with, like, pick an example, the Cornwall boys or the Yorkshire boys. There's a lot more cricket going on, but just gives a flavour, Blathers, about you're playing cricket at pretty much the top non-professional level for Premier League cricket, Kimberley. For those who are listening and in work and business as well, what sort of lessons do you take from cricket into business and vice versa? Because I know I've got lots of bits and pieces that I utilise at my own cricket club, for example, for my business. Is there anything in particular that you'd sort of take through?
The main thing for me was it gave you that release from work. Kind of Friday night, I'd switch off because I would be thinking about the game the next day. Mm-hmm. And then you switch back on a Monday morning. And I think that's good for you when you're working hard and trying to build a business or a career. Mm-hmm. And I mean, cricket's got loads of lessons, isn't it, that you can transfer to other areas of your life. In terms of, teamwork, perseverance, all the normal things that people talk about. Mm-hmm. It's not just sound bites, it's true.
Absolutely.
It's winter, and you can now get almost anything you need for the coldest months of the year delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a ski slope delivered, but you can get dish soap delivered. Sunshine, that's a no. But a bottle of wine, that's a yes. A snow angel, sorry, no. But angel hair pasta, Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol and select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Absolutely. I think it brings us neatly round to one of the number one reason for talking to you. You've been in business and in the IT industry for many years.
Yeah.
Played cricket for many years.
Yeah.
But then 12 years ago, is it now? What inspired you to enter this mad world of cricket bat manufacturing? And I say that very specifically because, it's a cricket bat manufacturing industry you're in. It's not a buy it off the shelf and put something on it. What inspired you to do that?
My good friend Russell Evans, in a nutshell, he was we grew up playing knots under 10s when you used to play on the outfield at Trent Bridge, and went right through age group cricket together, became good friends. Russell went on to become a professional cricketer at Notts. as did his brother, Kevin Evans.
Yeah.
And Russell got released at about 25, I think. Didn't quite sort of make the grade in the end, but got a very good job at Gunnar Moore. And he ended up being quite high up in the management structure at Gunnar Moore. And he was instrumental in changing the way Gunnar Moore made their cricket bats. So whilst a lot of the big boys were getting their willow, sending it to India for cheap labour, Gunnar Moore decided that they wanted to keep manufacturing in the UK, which was obviously admirable. So Russell was instrumental in the implementation of CNC machines for doing the carving of the cricket bats rather than by hand. And he wanted to slow the process down. He thought there was a market for making bats individually for customers rather than mass manufacture for retail. Yeah. Because the only people who really got that personalized service were the top pros. If you wanted a bat, you would pick it from a sports shop, and finding what was exactly right for you was more maybe chance than anything else. So he came to me with the idea about B3 cricket, and I was a real cricket badger. I just sold a business. He knew I was susceptible. So
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah, so we did it. Russell also wanted to become a professional umpire, and I think
Good on him.
that gave him the time to do that as well. That was another motivation for setting up his own business. So, and he did that. He went on and he became a professional umpire. He was living the dream. We just launched B3 in 2012. It was going well. But then in 2017, Russell was feeling unwell, went into hospital, and had what they call a pulmonary embolism. And they didn't detect it. And he died in hospital at just 52, which was obviously very tragic.
Yeah.
You know, and he was well thought of in the game. Everybody loved him. I mean, I've been to India a couple of times since. I am treated like a king because I'm Russell's friend.
Yeah.
The England team were playing in Adelaide the day after he passed away. They wore black armbands for him.
Wow.
Fantastic.
You know, so it was well known in the game, and I miss him dearly, obviously.
So his sort of legacy has continued then. Did you have to take a more hands-on approach to the business, obviously, when
So I was a man on the outside. I had to take a more active role. And Russell's family are still involved in the business, still shareholders in the business. In fact, his son came to see me last week, and his son's about 21 now, Bradley, and he walked in, and it's literally Russell's double.
Is it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So yeah, so we do the best we can to preserve his legacy.
Absolutely.
Moving into the sort of the bat manufacturing process that he set up, then, so he's stepping away from the mass manufacture. Then what difference can be made in that individual bat, via CNC machine versus the mass produced alternative?
Firstly, there's lots of good bat makers out there, and there are a lot of good cricket bats. The key to a good bat is the willow. Yeah, so we're very lucky. We are supplied by JS Wrights. Not many people are now because demand outstrips supply of the quality English willow. So we get that, and then it's the consistency of manufacture, and the CNC process gives us a precision that I think is beyond any handmade bat. It's perfectly balanced, it's perfectly symmetrical. Every bat has a unique serial number, and once we know a shape that somebody likes, we can make it time and time again. We've made bats for top pros, and that they couldn't tell the difference between the bats that we made, which is what they want. The other key is the pressing. So rather than mass pressing, the big boys, they haven't got time to press them individually and test them. They're all going through
together,
they're all going through the same press at the same pressure, but it's a unique material. It's not like a set of golf clubs where you're making it from metal. That's a uniform material, a predictable material. Willow, every bat is unique. Every cleft is unique. So we press individually and we test along the way to make sure we maximise the performance, or the ping, as cricketers would say, out of each blade.
So that's that press there, as the layman there. What's that press doing? It's just compressing the fibres so you get the spring. Is that correct?
Right, it's compacting the fibres for two reasons. One, to make it hard enough to actually rebound the ball, but two, also to make it durable as well.
Right.
Yeah. So, and you're right, it compacts about 4 or 5 mil at least into the blade. And some manufacturers will underpress just to try and leave the bat looking big.
Right.
But it's a false economy. You've then got to spend hours or stick it on one of those automatic knocking in machines for 3 or 4 hours, and that does what we would have done by pressing it.
Right.
So it compacts it, so it looks that big when you get it out of the showroom, but if you knock it in properly, it compacts it anyway. So it's just, I mean, Russell knew what he was doing. The guys who work for us have worked in the industry for a long time, and we're always questioning ourselves and striving for continual improvement, and just keeps getting better.
Would I be right in saying that? I'm just thinking aloud now, sort of listeners, and that layman who's listening, like I'm listening to you. If you've not pressed it far enough, and you've not got those fibres going as close together as possible,
yeah,
and then you do start knocking it in with a knocking in bat, for example, you're only going to knock it in, not even close to that 4 or 5 mil, but it's also going to be uneven because it's not going to be regular all the way along. Whereas when you press it, it's going to be really regular, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why some bats you bounce a new ball on it, and it will leave a seam mark. And different people have different theories. There are some bat makers who press really, really hard, which is I think stops the bat performing. So if there was a scale of 1 to 10, some bat makers might press them soft at 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Some might press them hard at 8 or 9. We're about a 6.5, 7.
Okay. But one of the things that fascinates me about what you guys do there is that CNC. And if you go back in the day before CNC and the mass makers and before they sent them off overseas, etc., there must have been anything up to, I'm going to say 3, 4, 5, even more % differential in trying to make the same bat twice, because you didn't have that unique, this is the shape, this is the size, exactly the same. There must have been quite a big difference that potentially people were making.
Yeah, a good bat maker has got ways of making it as close as possible, the way they will map out a bat against the cleft and everything else. But you're right, I mean, the precision of a CNC is unmatched. But a good hand bat maker, still make a great bat. But I'd always say, is it as symmetrical? Is it as perfectly balanced? Probably not. Can you reproduce from a serial number exactly the same?
Yeah,
probably not.
You've got 30 bats in front of you. You walk into a showroom, a generic showroom.
Yeah.
Which bat are you walking towards first? What is it? Does it? I know you're gonna tell me that what it looks like is irrelevant, but is there some inner sort of bias within you that guides you to a certain looking bat to start with?
Me personally, no. I mean, I'm looking for a bat that's 210, with a nice looking edge and a nice looking middle, picks up well. I'd like a semi-oval handle, one grip, and then you're looking. If it picks up well and it feels the right weight, you're looking to bounce a ball on it and see if it pings.
So talk, obviously straight grains, loads of grains, less grains, heartwood.
Yeah.
Any of that relevant?
Tried it all over the years, as you can imagine. And in fact, I'll tell you a funny story. When Russell was at Gunham Moor, I used to ring him up, Russell, I need a new bat, mate. Yes, Blathers, come on down. You can take me for lunch. He used to like going for lunch at Hooters. That was his little thing.
Okay.
So all right, I'll buy you the chicken and buy you a pint at Hooters, but I need a good bat. Yeah, don't worry, Blathers, come on down. So I go down, and in his office, there'd be half a dozen bats lined up. He used to put these little, like, butcher's tags around them. It would have the weight on, and there'd be a name on it. So there was Truscothick, Vaughan, Steve Waugh, right? Okay, flipping heck. Is this really Steve Waugh's bat? Yes, Brothers, yeah. It's fantastic. Oh, I'd love one just like it. He says, well, you take it, and I won't tell anybody if you don't. I said, fantastic, Russ. Cheers. Right. So I go off. Right. It was only when we started B3 that he told me that he would literally pick those out of stock and then write the tags just before I got there.
Exactly. Exactly. Just shows you what marketing can do on a
Placebo.
micro
It's
scale.
placebo.
Absolutely. Love it. Yeah. Got to ask, was Truscothics or Wars better, though?
Oh, they're all good. They're all good. I always went for Steve Waugh. He was my hero.
Exactly. And that's how I think a lot of people buy bats even to this day. This is the guy who uses this. It must be a great bat. Away they go, isn't it? And it's, we've all brought up with that. And I think that was back in the 70s and 80s, Blathers. That was probably something that me and you in particular would be doing. I don't know about kids today who aren't watching it as much on terrestrial TV but they're seeing it on socials, are they, Hugh?
They're still there. I mean, I think possibly who are the influencers has changed. It might not be quite so much the pros. It might be some of the the like the cricket kid and people like that. They're having an impact on what the lads are watching, what they want to buy.
I've just rushed here from shooting some social content with a guy called Uzi Arif who's got masterclass cricket.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, and brilliant. A real energetic coach. I mean, played a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wagstaff came in to collect his bats while he was there.
Yeah.
And he got Mitch in the nets bowling at him. It was good. And he reminded us of the 9-for apparently that he took at the Derby County ground back in the day.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, not many can say. Hey, we talk about the sort of bats that you're making there, but let's be brutal about it. You're talking to us because you see the Premier League batters out there and the NCCA cricketers. You see that for B3. That's I don't want to call it a core market, but it really is a nice target market for you. That sort of batter, isn't it?
Our market is the discerning cricketer.
Yeah.
The person who knows that they're playing at a level where they need a good bat and it can make a difference, and that they want one that feels comfortable as they walk to the wicket.
Yeah.
It's people who know the difference between a good bat and a bad bat and want what they like. So that discerning cricketer tends to be playing the higher levels of cricket.
Someone who knows the difference and also can make use of the difference of a cricket bat or not, I suspect. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, I like to think that a good bat could help any cricketer.
Yeah.
But I also say to people, you can only hit it for a 6 or 4. You don't get 8 or 12.
Absolutely. You've got to hit it to start with as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. But you do have that mix already within the B3 family, shall we call it, of professionals that you already work with. Just for those people who do want to see these B3 bats being used, who should they be looking out for?
Luke Wells at Lancs is brilliant. Hartley. Durham, I think we've got most of the Durham team now because lads we sponsored have transferred there this winter. So, we've got Sam Connors has gone there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And we've got Scotty Borthwick there. Graham Clark, who's had a brilliant winter in various T20s. Paul Coughlin. Who else we got? The spinner, Callum Parkinson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Will Rhodes, who has gone from Warwickshire.
So these aren't guys who could just drop into you anymore because they're all over the bloody place, up in Durham, aren't they?
Well, you're always passing somewhere if you're travelling from Durham, aren't you?
Absolutely.
We've got quite a few there. Got Lewis Rees at Derby, and several others around the country.
But you would like to be in with more of these Premier League cricketers and these clubs.
Yeah, we've got a club. We're passionate about cricket bats, but we're also passionate about cricket. So during the pandemic, for example, you've been to our place. We've got the indoor net.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my level 3 or advanced coaching certificates at the moment. So I've always coached alongside playing, more so since I packed up. And I used a lot of my contacts to make a load of coaching videos. And we did the B3 lockdown club, and it was that first lockdown when literally nobody could do the pre-season or get to the nets anymore. And we got Paul Johnson in, the Notts batsman, Peter Such, the spinner, ex-England spinner and coach, Eddie Burke, who runs Lincolnshire, who you'll know. and a couple of others, and we did some great content. Andy Brown was involved as well. We did some great drills and stuff. And I'm lucky because my daughter's a videographer, so I got her services. And if you go on the YouTube channel, the B3 at B3 Cricket YouTube, there's loads of content on there from some brilliant coaches. Chris Reed did all the wicket keeping. We went down to Repton and filmed a load of stuff there with Tom Keith, who you'll know. So yeah, no, we're passionate about cricket as well as making bats.
Making bats, though, there must be issues. Let's be brutal about this. There are issues in the markets that there isn't a single market in this world that there isn't issues in. You know, I work in the trade DIY hardware market. There's always issues. There's someone going bump. There's someone new kid off the block. There's some shortage, or there's some container prices from China and India have gone through the roof. There's all kinds going off.
Yeah.
What are the biggest challenges you found in the bat making business today versus when you got involved 12 years ago?
The price of English willow has gone up a lot. The availability of English willow has gone down a lot. Although we're lucky, we get ours from rights, we've got plenty, good. But what that's done to the marketplace is it's forced people to make shortcuts. And there's other sources of willow, Kashmiri willow, European willow. It's not as good as English willow, and that's fine. If somebody's making a bat out of those and selling them as such, not got a problem with that, and the price reflects that.
Right.
There's a lot of people selling counterfeit or fake willow as the best English willow, and it was interesting actually. There's a business magazine called Business Insider, American company. And last year they did a little mini documentary on the problems facing the cricket bat industry. And Jatin Sareen, who runs SS in India, probably the biggest in India, he was on there talking about all these problems. So that's difficult because you're competing with people who've got a different angle and an unfair advantage in some ways.
Absolutely, but then therefore that means that B3 and yourselves, you have to differentiate your brand from all of those players, but also the bigger names and the more traditional ones that some have been brought up with. How do you differentiate the B3 ones therefore?
I think the fact that you can walk in and ask for a bat, and Luke Wells can walk in, and you'll both get exactly the same choice, exactly the same service and advice. And the other key is the after sales service. You buy a bat from a shop, something happens to it. Bats do break. You cop one, you send it back to the shop. They send it back to the manufacturer. It could be weeks, months before you hear back. We deal with it promptly. We've got couple of people in the office all the time. We're answering the phone. We're responding to emails. We're trying to be responsive and helpful, as well as just a bat maker.
And the thing with your setup there, it reminds me of my childhood. I don't know if you remember GD Models in Nottingham. Do you remember GD Models in Nottingham? In the Lace Market. It was a model shop, and as a kid you'd walk in and it was just there was like a helicopter up here and trains going around, and those kind of shops don't exist anymore really. I mean, there's a niche market, and when you walk into your sort of factory / shop showroom, it takes me back to my childhood, walking into the sports shop and it's all there, and that service, the personal service, and the quality and the time you can spend, just going there. It's a modern process, but it's still got its roots in the past, which is lovely.
That's very relevant actually, Hugh, because I always say to the people, I remind them that we're dealing with it's their hobby, it's their passion, it's the stuff that they love outside of, work and the day-to-day grind. It's like if I go and buy a fishing rod, I'm a badger. I want to know everything about it. I do my research. I look at the options. So it's we're serving people's hobby and passion outside the day-to-day grind.
Definitely. I think one of the other things that's key for me at B3, and I'm going to sell B3 with this full stop. Everyone who's there plays cricket. They know their cricket. This is not just a bunch of people who are doing it because they've got a job. You're all passionate about cricket, and that makes a massive difference to anywhere you go. If you go to Sports Direct, let's be honest, the chances of bumping into somebody in Sports Direct who's got a clue about cricket is negligible.
Yeah.
Whereas you're going to get cricket people in your place. You've got cricket people in the family who have got involved in the business in little ways, whether it be your Jack or whether you're Dan.
Yeah, well, my brother Paul works with me in one of the IT companies, and he must spend 25% of his time at least on B3 cricket.
Yeah.
Jack is a professional at Lancashire, and my lad Daniel, who I think you've interviewed because you're doing some interviews on overseas players in Australia. Yeah, he's playing Premier League cricket at Hucknall, and I love going to watch him at the weekend and watch them progress. And it all started with my old man, really. My old man was, cricket mad, football mad, and right from 4 or 5 years of age, me and my 3 brothers, we were dragged along to football on a Sunday morning, made to stand outside the pub and kick a ball in the pub car park, and then in the cricket season, we went off to watch him play at Raleigh, and we just spent the summer in the nets. So that's how you learnt the game, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
It's still how people learn the game. I think it is definitely, it definitely goes down family lines, cricket, doesn't it? I think that time spent at the edge of a cricket field, it just embeds cricket within the children, and once it's in there, it doesn't get out, and it's there for life, isn't it? Well, either that or they go, God, I'm never doing this again, and go and dig a hole and become a miner or something like that.
No, and I think that's the thing. I think a lot of young players at Premier League clubs will have aspirations. They'll want to make the grade and become a professional cricketer, but I think it's also important that they've got enough love of the game that if that doesn't work out, they've got a plan B. They'll get a job, they develop a career, but keep playing cricket.
Absolutely,
because that release and the bits that gives you in your life are just invaluable.
But that throws a really open-ended question to you, which I was thinking about. You've seen Premier League cricket firsthand playing it as a player. You watch a lot of it now as well, but you're also a business owner in the cricket industry. Yeah, how do you think Premier League cricket and minor counties now called national county, how do you think that's evolved over the last 12 years around your industry, and has the industry evolved with it as well?
No, I don't think the industry is necessarily linked to that. Yeah, I think the good clubs, the big clubs, and the players who are passionate about it are as good as ever.
Yeah.
The Notts Premier League, when it first started, 99, 2000, we won it. And we had Andre Adams, who went on to play for New Zealand, Essex and Notts as our overseas. And the Cavaliers back then had a phenomenal team, But, I see some great cricket now. I saw you at the Kimberley Northern semi-final. What a standard that was. I mean,
absolutely.
The fielding has got better. The fielding's a massive difference.
Yeah,
I think skills and number of seam bowlers and quality seam bowlers, I think there's less. I think more. I think
absolutely agree.
There's more spinners. Yeah, but the fielding's a big difference, definitely.
Most definitely. But
I think those seamers are just getting looked after a lot more, aren't they? There's a lot more less getting released.
I'm not so sure about that. I don't think as many kids want to be fast bowlers as they used to, and there's a couple of rules in Premier League cricket that irritate me around that. But that's just me being an old bugger.
Come on, let's have them.
Don't think so. We've got rules that we don't like around the whole bloody country. I can tell you right now.
I just think the Premier Leagues are trying to sort of pay homage too much to the ECB and the first class game. It's totally different. Club cricket is totally different to professional cricket, and having tight wides, for example. You need tight wides, but I think before they went anything at all down the leg side, it was about 1'18", wasn't it? There was a little mark, and that's fair enough. But at the minute, it's discouraging in swing bowling. Yeah, it's discouraging an off spinner ripping it and attacking the stumps. You consequently you sort of end up bowling channel one side of the wicket. So you're losing those leg side shots and the glances and the push through mid wicket and stuff like that. I don't know.
And do you think that's affected the standard of that top level recreational cricket as well then? Because I think you nailed it with the seamers. I'm 100% behind you in terms of the quality seamers at the level. Do you think that's part of the reason?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, the no ball rule in the I don't know if every Premier League's got it, but in the Notts Prem they've got the free hit. Yeah, which is there's a couple of things. One, you remember Luke Fletcher, don't you? Well, Luke Fletcher started coaching at our place now. He started his coaching career. He rents the place out on a Sunday, and obviously he got the bonk on the head, didn't he? And I just think young bowlers need to run in with freedom. And I know batters say, oh, you should never bowl no balls. But if you've ever been a fast bowler, you'll understand that there are times when your rhythm's wrong and you just do it.
Or you're a fast bowler bowling at Kimberley down the hill for the first time.
Well, exactly. That's what I did for 15 years.
Yeah.
So you want them to run in with freedom and attack the crease. And if they're holding back, it's damaging the technique. But more than anything, if you've got I don't know, who's the biggest, strongest player I can remember? Probably somebody like Dan Birch, used to play for Derby. He's now managing Kimberley. So, I mean, he would hit the ball so hard.
Yeah.
So imagine the scenario. 17-year-old bowler's just bowled a no ball, now got to run in and bowl a free hit at Dan Birch with a brand new cherry. Somebody's going to get killed. Let alone the broken tiles and losing a brand new cherry that's worth 40 quid.
Yeah.
Just makes sense.
What happens at Kimberley with the broken tiles? Because it's very close to an awful lot of houses. Is there a house rules as to who fixes it, or is it tough because you live there?
We used to just say, look, when they got irate, we used to say, look, you bought it. This has been here 100 years.
Yeah.
And that was it. Yeah, a couple actually. I think I remember Neil Fenwick I used to play with. He put one through a bathroom window and a woman was having a bath. That was quite.
Things that you don't have to think about when people play first-class cricket. You see, that's the difference, isn't it? Yeah. This market that we're in, and I'm going to class us all in the same market here, Blathers. Yourself and ourselves. We are focused on that top end of non-professional recreational cricket. I don't like the word recreational. I think non-professional is better because it is a hobby, but at the same time, these lads take it serious, like you say. That's why the fielding is so much better. That's why some of the technical stuff's so much better. Do you think that this is where brands have missed a trick to a certain extent? That this is the core market for a lot of people, isn't it? These people are a bit like you're fishing. If you're a good fisherman, you want the good tackle. You don't want the cheap stuff.
Possibly, but there's some good brands out there. It's not just B3. Yeah, no, I think a good player will demand a good bat and will seek one out.
But they're not all going to get the personal service that they come by coming to your place and literally, here you go, work your way through it. And Hugh and I have been over there, and what we would say to anybody is, if you want to go over to B3 and have a tour around the factory, firstly, you can see one on YouTube because Bumble's done one and it's on there, which is great. But actually going over there, it's not like your factories back in the day, is it, Hugh?
No, it's you've not got hordes of machinery and people getting their fingers chopped off like in the 18th century, as I would imagine a factory. But no, it's very, very modern and smooth and clean, tidy, isn't it?
Okay, there's a bit of wood shaving around, so I'm not going to say you can eat your food off the floor.
Well,
but I tell you what, it weren't that far off, was it, to say the least? And it's nice to know that it can be done that way, but let's be brutal about it. The traditional side of that bat making is still there with Gav, and the way you guys put the handles in, that just hasn't changed, has it?
No. It's we've got the pressing is by hand, the CNC does the carving, and then everything else is by hand, fitting the handle. We cater for fussiness, so some people might be not that fussy about the bat in particular. We've had pros who aren't that fussy about the weight of the bat or the shape of the bat, as long as it feels all right and goes well. But they're absolutely picky about the handles, for example. And Gav will keep old handles and measure them with a micrometer to make sure they're bang on. So yeah, we cater for that fussiness, and the factory tour. It's not just online. Anybody who can make it. The kettle's always on, and we always welcome showing people around.
to go on without naming names.
No, we want naming names.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds like a leading question.
Leading
Yeah, that's
question.
it.
Without naming names, tell me the most fussy customer from a pro level that you've had where you look back and go, really?
No comment. I mean, did you used to work for
Throwing him
CID
under a
without
bus here,
naming
yeah.
names? Tell me the name.
So there's not a single story that you can go,
Well, he's retired now. We made some bats for Jonathan Trott.
okay, you've named names now. Don't blame me.
Now you can imagine how fussy he was.
Yeah.
And we've had all sorts in. It'll be well known. I mean, your audience aren't daft, but a lot of players that get bats that aren't necessarily the same as the stickers on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've made bats for all sorts, and they've been very fussy, and they've came back because we can repeat that exact specification for them.
Absolutely.
If you're Jonathan Trott, I think you've got every right to be fussy, haven't you? You know, a player of his caliber, you just want it spot on, don't you? And some players are very, very finicky about their everything, every piece of their kit, their layout, and all the rest of it, and that's what makes them as good as they are because of that level of detail. So it's understandable that you.
And with a pro, players. I've got no problem whatsoever with that because they're at the top of the game and they're entitled to. Sometimes you do get amateur players who are very, very fussy. You say, right, let's go in the net then and try a few bats, and they just can't play. And you say, well, I'll tell you what. Let's have a couple of coaching sessions.
Yeah.
Great.
And on sales. And on sales.
Try and improve your technique before you blame the bat.
Exactly.
You're a startup founder. Finding product market fit is probably your number one priority. But to land bigger customers, you also need security compliance. Obtaining your SOC 2 or ISO 27001 certification can open those big doors, but they take time and energy, pulling you away from building and shipping. That's where Vanta comes in. Vanta is the all-in-one compliance solution helping startups get audit ready and build a strong security foundation quickly and painlessly. Vanta automates the manual security tasks that slow you down, helping you streamline your audit. The platform connects you with trusted experts to build your program, auditors to get you through audits quickly, and a marketplace for essentials like pen testing. So whether you're closing your first deal or gearing up for growth, Vanta makes compliance easy. Join over 8,000 companies, including Y Combinator and Techstar startups who trust Vanta. For a limited time, get $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/simplify. That's VANTA.com/simplify for $1,000 off.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
But you talk about those amateur players. You have had and you have got a number of young players who've come through the ranks right now, and we're talking about you've got half the Durham squad using B3, but you've got some really young players that people might not know quite as well who've been with you for a while and are coming through right now, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got Theo Wiley's been with us right from being a kid, and we sponsor county age group players. So if any county age group players or academy players out there, or even sub-county or district, if you're in Australia, then we'll try and help you a little bit. We won't give stupid discounts because we can't afford to. If you give stupid discounts and give stuff away, you don't have a business anymore. So we try and help where we can. But we've also just took on 3 really good young pros. So Theo Wiley was a natural progression with us. He's signed with Warwickshire now.
Yeah.
Fateh Singh, who went to school with my lad Daniel, has now gone from Notts to Worcestershire, having impressed in the Metro Bank on loan last year. And I told you earlier, Mitch Wagstaff from Derby, smashing lad, big, tall, left hand opening bat, and bowls a bit of spin as well.
Hits the ball very hard as well.
He does. We've just been down testing his bats, and he whacked one back at me on the bowling machine, and I just cleared in time.
So your back's all right then to move at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's feeling good.
It's an important. You've got to be fit enough to move from those bowling machines.
If anybody wants me to, if anybody can guarantee that we'll win the toss on a warm day and we can bat first, I'm up for selection. If I've got to field, sit down, have tea, then try go out and bat. Then not for me.
So every club that you turn out for in the future might need a 12th man then.
Yeah, no, I think my batting day. It's nice having the bowling machine because you can get that fix.
Absolutely. Yeah. The other thing that I was going to pick up on, and we've mentioned it sort of briefly, and I think this is possibly my favourite thing from B3. You talk about replicating bats. You literally can replicate any bat that somebody wants. You know, somebody can bring you in a 60-year-old bat that they've had for donkey's years, and after all these years, it just happened to break. If they want to repeat that, you can do it.
Yeah, I had a scenario earlier this week. A guy in Australia, bat he's had in the garage, wanted to replicate it. Ideally, you send the bat in or you come in with it. But we can do it over Zoom or Teams or Zoom or Teams really. And we can bat map it. So we can literally take the dimensions, take some photos, get it into the CAD, and 3D model it and produce that exact same bat at the exact same weight with the exact same dimensions.
Give or take the natural element that can change bats ever so slightly.
Yeah, well, yeah, in terms of the performance and the pickup, because you can have 10 identical bats and one will feel different to the other.
That was my trading standards just in case.
Yeah, but different days as well. You know, I'll go into the showroom and pick some bats up. I go, that feels heavy, Gab. How heavy is that? I go, oh, it's only 2.9 Blathers. I go, oh, crap, it feels heavier than that. The next day, it just depends whether you've been to the gym, whether you've not. I remember, saving up to get my grey nickels when I was about 11. Yeah, got me Christmas money, got me birthday money, right, going down to Redmayne and Todd's in Nottingham, buy this bat. And, bought this bat. Felt great in the showroom. Felt brilliant. Got home. It's too heavy, Dad. It's too heavy. No way I can pull Peter Johnson in the Gedling nets with this. It's too heavy. And that's adrenaline. You know, when you go into
it feels great.
You know, that's adrenaline, definitely. You're excited because you're a bat badger.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So that's why we offer the B3. It sounds a bit cheesy. Well, it is cheesy. The pin guarantee. So if you order a bat offers and you get it and it doesn't feel right, or you bounce a ball on it, obviously don't go and use it in the nets or in anger, but bounce a ball on it, tap it up. If you say I'm not happy, another.
Absolutely.
We do that, you know, and that's our pin guarantee.
You know, coming round full circle to what you've been saying there, you've got these aspiring youngsters who, as you say, used to go down to Redmayne's or in my case, Jack Sharp's in Liverpool, and you know what you want, but you think you know what you want, and then actually when you get home, it's not there. What advice would you give to aspiring batters playing at that sort of Premier League, NCAA level in terms of what advice would you give them for about buying a bat?
Come to B3.
End of. Keep it simple, but genuinely walking in.
Set that one up. Yeah.
If you take all that chance out of the equation.
Yeah.
Come to us, you tell us what you want, and then we make it or find it out of the showroom. And if you're not happy with it, we find you another one. So there is no chance to the equation.
What's the pod going to be called? Cup to B3? Might be as simple as that, mightn't it, really? Hey, we're coming towards the end, Blathers. Got to ask you, you've been at it 12 years. What's next for B3? You know, you guys have dipped your toe into teamwear now. You've got your softs with your pads and your gloves. Yeah. What's next for you guys?
No, just more of the same, organic growth, really. You know, we're looking at other locations in the UK because whilst we try and take the objection that if you're remote, you can't pick it up out of the equation, people still like to pick them up. So we're probably going to expand a little bit, but as I say, organically, and just keep making good bats and keep learning.
Absolutely. Before we wrap it up, let's just have some quick fun with some quick fire questions. I don't want any thinking on this. I want it straight out of your head. Okay.
Yeah.
What is the best bat you have ever used?
Gunnermore Maestro. Back in the day, not now. obviously a B3.
There
But
you
when
go.
I was playing, Steve Waugh's done a more maestro.
There you go. Who is the toughest bowler you ever faced?
Devon Malcolm without a lid first time he came over.
Oh, dearie me.
I'm just open-mouthed at the thought of it.
Sheffield United on a wicket like that.
Oh,
dear.
Did he get any runs?
Not many, I don't think. No.
Did anyone get any runs?
When you say runs, you mean cricket runs?
the runs. Yeah.
Go on.
Which brings me neatly to, what was the best innings you ever played?
Stainsby in the Derbyshire Cup semi-final. We were about 60 for 6 chasing 300, and I got 100, and Eddie Hemmings was bowling for them.
The Eddie Hemmings was bowling for them.
Wow.
And here's a big one for you. Back round to B3. Who's the dream player that you'd love to use your bat?
Well, my favourite player ever is Jack Callis. But, I mean, current?
Yeah, modern day.
Ruti, obviously.
Well, he's only up the road. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
He's not far away, as he said. Hey,
he's only up a couple of pay grades as well from what we could have.
Just a wee bit. Where can people find B3? What's the easiest way to find it then, Blathers?
Yeah, online, all the usual channels, whichever your preference is. You can old-fashioned phone call. You can send us an email to teamb3@b3cricket.com. And as I say, we'll respond quickly and efficiently.
Absolutely. And we would recommend, as we've said to everyone already, get over to B3. If you get the chance, get over there, especially if you're in the Midlands and you're looking for a new bat for the new season. But if you are looking for a new bat for the new season, we do have to say, you've got our affiliate code that you'll see on our socials. You can utilise that and get some discount about buying a bat. But more importantly, we'll have a competition very soon. If it's not out there by the time this pod goes out, I'll be surprised, to win, Mr. Blatherwick, a B3 bat.
Yeah, brand new pro grade custom bat to your exact preference. Yeah, and hopefully the person who wins will be able to make it into the factory and have the full experience and hit a few balls as well.
Can I just say, hopefully the person who wins it makes some runs as well, because really we don't want anything else, do we?
I can put it on their
guarantee
wall.
that. Did you not know we guarantee that?
Okay, no, you don't guarantee.
Run guarantee
runs. Unless you're facing Devon Malcolm.
Yeah.
Then you guarantee that. Hey, great chatting all things bats and cricket with you, as always, Blathers. As we've said before, the three of us, we could go on for about 6 hours if we wanted to, talking all of these things.
We must do that round a few cricket grounds this year and have a couple of sherbets as well.
Absolutely.
Great to me.
Great to speak with you, mate.
Cheers, fellas. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us at the Premier League Cricket Club. We'll be back soon with more from the world of Premier League and NWCA cricket. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review and follow us wherever you get your socials. Or maybe check out our website, premierleaguecricket.co.uk, to stay updated. Until next time, have a good one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hair thinning can happen for so many reasons. Whether it's stress or hormones or anything, at Nutrafol we've learned that real change starts below the surface. Our hair growth supplements take a whole body approach and target the key root causes of hair thinning, so you can see visibly thicker, stronger hair in 3 to 6 months.
Hair growth starts from the inside at Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com.